I do feel that a lot of you have recently brought an end to something. I do feel for a lot of you, it might be a friendship situation where you're no longer walking on the same path with another person. And as a result of it, it's really hard to carry on conversation. It's really hard to vent to them, because I feel that, the sometimes friendships themselves, you want to have like-minded people in your life, and I feel that because of it, it's just really hard to fake it and to have somewhat meaningful associations or meaningful conversations with that other person in your life. I feel like it might be a friend, and you're going through the whole, weeding out people process, closing some doors or on some friendships, especially friends that have brought you a lot of confusion, that have brought like a lot of worries and problems into your life, where they continuously vent to you about their problems, and you try to give them advice, you try to tell them like, what they need to do, but they don't really listen. So it's like the recurring pattern over and over and over again. And I feel that it is emotionally draining for you, okay? Other messages that I'm getting coming through is I do feel as well in love relationships, and especially with interpersonal relationships like family members and things like that. What I'm sensing as well is you might have closed some doors on some people, and you're not sure if you did the right thing, and you're not sure. I feel like a lot of you are kind of thinking about them, and you just want to know how they're doing. You want to know if they're okay. In cases like that, it's okay for you to reach out and just say that, I was thinking about you, and I'm just hoping that you're okay, and leave it at that. You don't need to like follow up with, major like flood of your feelings and, trying to reconnect and things like that. Just send them a message that lets them know that you were thinking about them and that you hope they're okay, and leave it at that, okay? If they choose to respond, that's great, and just, have leave things very light and short. And I do feel that, if you're worried about them, there is a reason they're probably thinking about you too. But it's not a good idea to rekindle or reconnect with them, okay? So just keep that in mind. What I'm also feeling as well is when it comes to friendships overall, please be very careful about divulging information, and be careful about people's motives, because I feel like you're very outgoing and you have a wide network of friends, but in terms of having very strong, close emotional connections with them, just keep the ones that are, hang on to the friendships that are meaningful, that add value to your life, okay? There's nothing wrong with weeding out people. And I feel that a lot of people hang on to too many things and too many people that might not be entirely good for them way past their expiration date. So just try to keep that in mind, okay? I don't feel there's anything wrong with severing ties and severing connections when the relationship has been a little bit troublesome or draining. I'm going to leave that here because these two came out together. So be careful about that. In terms of your work situation, I do feel that seeking advice from a close friend is going to be very good for you. For those of you who have kind of hit, the end of the road, if you're like going through a crisis, or if you're going through a situation at work where you feel like, what exactly do I want to do next? Like, is this the right career path for me? Seeking advice from a friend that you trust, I feel that a lot of you, I feel like what, well, people generally, we all know what we need to do. Sometimes we just need a sounding board. So having a conversation with a close friend would be very beneficial for you in order to get you to arrive at the right decision, okay? Sometimes we know what we need to do. We just need to talk it out. We just need somebody to like bounce ideas off of. In the process of being able to verbalize what it is that we're feeling, then we can make then we can get the validation to make the right decision, okay? Because I feel like deep down we all always know what's the best decision for us at any given point in time. So let's talk about this situation here. First of all, like I mentioned, there has been something that you ended very, very recently, and I do feel that it is an ongoing battle, an ongoing dispute, or it was an ongoing issue that where two people were basically not seeing eye to eye, and there was a major impasse, okay, like a major stalemate, and it wasn't going anywhere. So a lot of you have implemented some endings, and I feel like it could have been within the past 2 months, because I'm getting the Five of Swords, which is more about for some reason I'm getting like in the time of Aquarius, because of the sword energy. So in the time of Aquarius, like in doing old ways of communicating with other people, and especially old problems that you just don't have a solution for, you don't really want to engage in the conflict, it is being put to rest, okay? This is a very beautiful energy. Now, we are going through the brunt first. This was something that was implemented recently, and a lot of you are wondering whether or not the decision was right, okay? So if you have ended some type of a relationship, you're kind of wondering what you should do and whether or not you did the right thing. For others of you, I do feel that you're afraid this situation is coming back in, and you're afraid that the conflict is not over, that the other person that you were involved in that conflict with has the potential to come back, okay? So you're kind of gearing for battle, and you're getting ready for some type of entanglement, like some type of a round two. But I don't feel the other person is going to be coming in, so I don't feel that you need to worry about this, okay? You close the doors on that, and it's good, and it's a great thing to do. So um, don't like think about them. Don't try to, don't second guess yourself. Whatever that has ended, you were definitely doing the right thing and you're on the right track. So don't second guess this decision that you made, okay? What I feel as well is there might have been some interference coming in for a lot of you regarding a love relationship type of situation. If there has been other people interfering with your relationship, I feel that they might show themselves this month, and there might have been just a lot of confusion regarding the third party. I don't feel like people were stepping out of the relationship, but I definitely see some interference possibly coming in from family members, from like friends, and friends from your side, friends from their side. I feel that it might be friends from their side, but I feel that for a lot of you, you or your partner sees the value in the relationship that you have together. So you're not going to let outsiders interfere in this union, and you're willing to fight for the relationship. You're willing to give it your all, and you're willing to cut down whoever is trying to get between you and them, or them and you. So you are doing this, they're also trying to do this. And I do feel that as a result of it, you have a very strong, stable, grounded relationship, and you have a very strong, like, you have somebody that is willing to fight for you. You likewise are willing to fight for the longevity and for the sustainability of this relationship, which is a really beautiful energy. In terms of your emotional state, we do have the Queen of Cups as well as the Wheel of Fortune. And both of these cards are entirely very positive. One thing I want to emphasize is that, like, you're the first sign of the zodiac, also being a fire sign. You might have a reputation for rushing into things or doing things on impulse, but I know that with Aries, you have a very strong sense of loyalty. And when somebody hurts you, with all fire signs, well, with everybody, but I do feel specifically with Aries, if somebody hurts you and they're a friend, it's a really deep wound, okay? If somebody you trust um turns out to be, ends up falling off their pedestal, it's a very hurtful situation. And you do close doors in those situations. So I just want you to know that whatever has ended, I feel that you did the right thing. So don't re-engage in it, and don't manifest it to come back to you. And sometimes when we think about, oh, I hope that situation doesn't come back around, I do sense that by thinking on it too much, by dwelling on it, by like fearing it, it has the potential to manifest and re-enter your life. So just be very careful about the intentions that you set out there, okay? overall, I do feel with your emotional state, you are very, very grounded and solid this month. You're in a position where you can be of great assistance to other people, like the shoulder for them to cry on, a good system of like emotional support. You're in a very, very good position to offer them advice from the heart. I'm going to wait for that siren to pass. And I do sense that this is the energy that you exude. This is the persona that you give off, where people that have, that need guidance and things like that are coming into your life as well, because they need you to give them, some type of support, some type of guidance. Okay. What I'm also feeling is, for those of you who are dealing with a water sign, water signs are Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I do feel that this water sign is going to be very instrumental in offering advice, but also in providing some type of some type some type of a groundwork, some type of a grounding energy in order for you to move forward with your plan. So this person is very instrumental in your life. They are crossing your path for a reason. I do feel that, it can be a male or female, but either way, they have a very like deep wealth of knowledge about human nature. They are crossing your paths in what seems to me to be a very serendipitous way. For women, especially, I feel that it might be a friend. For men, it might be somebody who is very just emotionally nurturing and mature, and they can be, as a romantic partner, this is somebody who doesn't really, they don't entertain mind games. They don't like, the chase and things like that. They are looking for something a little bit more solid, okay? You likewise are in a position where your maternal instincts are kicking in, and you feel like, I want more of a solid, stable, committed relationship. I want somebody that will be there for me, like in my old age. So you're thinking long term. And in terms of all of your interpersonal relationships as well, you want something that will sustain, or that will last the test of time. So you don't want superficial friendships, acquaintances, relationships, dating. You don't want any of that. You want something with a lot of emotional depth. Okay. So for some reason, I feel like it's more of a maturation process, because you're going through this, and you feel like it's a moment of emotional maturity where you know what you want, and what you want happens to be things that are stable, that can grow with you into your old age. Okay. So even for those of you who are younger, as you're watching this, like if you're even, like in your late teens or even in your 20s, you're no longer satisfied and emotionally fulfilled by superficial relationships, friendships, people, family members. You're no longer putting up with it. You're looking for more emotional depth. Okay. Which is a great thing to do. And usually when we want people who are like-minded, especially in friendships or in mentorships capacity, the universe usually delivers them pretty quickly. So there are some conflicts that are creating some type of an emotional instability within you. So the Nine of Swords and the Five of Wands both indicate to me this is a conflict card. This is like competition and conflict, as well as the Nine of Swords, which is basically sleepless nights, like mental energy, thoughts, communication that might not have been um, there, communication that might have been hurtful, and you're playing it over and over and over again in your head, and as a result of it, it's creating like a difficult energy for you to cope with. So what I'm feeling with both of these cards is, don't internalize other people's conflicts. Okay. So what I mean is, for example, if two of your closest friends are having problems with each other, don't play mediator. That's between them. All right. Two people that have problems with each other, they need to resolve it on their own. That's what we do as adults. We shouldn't need mediation. We shouldn't need that. We shouldn't need a third party. And also, because you're emotionally invested in both of them, it's not in your best interest to play mediator because it's just a conflict of interest. So you want to remove yourself from sources of conflict, especially other people's conflict, as much as possible, because I feel like it's emotionally destabilizing for you. Additionally, what I'm sensing is whoever it was that you closed the door on, if they're bringing conflict with them and things like that, just don't engage in it, okay? What I'm also sensing is, the Five of Wands usually does indicate like a competition as well. So a lot of the times, you want to be careful about the things that you say because you're the fire energy and the wands represent fire. You could potentially be dealing with like another air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, and you might be dealing with a water sign as well. And the things that you say, you feel like, oh, it's playful, it's just, harmless. But I do feel that the other person might be a little bit more analytical or a little bit more sensitive, like this water sign here. So the words can cut. So you want to be careful about communication, about not saying things, but like explaining them in a way that the people who are a little bit more sensitive might understand that you were joking. Okay, so competition and also words that might be randomly thrown about. Be careful about that. In terms of your advice here, we have the Three of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Strength card. So family and friendships are going to be pretty much the foundation for you for this month. They are going to provide you with support, emotional support, financial support. If you are strapped for finances and money and things like that, come to your friends and your family for help, okay? Additionally, I do feel there might be family members coming to you for help as well as friends coming to you for help. I feel though, Aries, you are in a position of financial abundance. And as a result of it, other people will come to you, family members and friends. And I do sense that, you're more than willing to help them. What I do feel as well is for those of you who are in like a solid, committed, relationship where you've been together for quite some time, or you are married with each other, there might be like gossip, there might be situations that are happening outside of the relationship, just like people interfering in your family unit, in your relationships overall. I don't feel that this is going to drive you or your romantic partner apart, but I want you to identify the elements and I want you to like not let this energy affect you, okay? If there is interference from other people outside of your relationship, just know that whatever doesn't tear you apart will bring you closer together, will strengthen the relationship. So I feel like this month is a very trying time for those of you in solid relationships. I also feel we have the Strength card. This is a card about not jumping to conclusion. This is a card about basically getting answers, like prying answers from the lion's mouth. So it deals with a little bit of an uncomfortable energy. If you are dealing with somebody who's very evasive, ask direct questions. And I know this is something that you have no trouble doing. If they're not giving you clear, straightforward answers, you have to ask yourself why that is, okay? Maybe that's the answer that you need to take into account. Maybe that's all you need to know, because I feel that if someone is not giving you direct answers, it means they're hiding the truth, and they might be trying to covertly hide the truth and lie by omission. So this is something for you to keep in the back of your mind, like, why is it that when you ask somebody for specific, when you ask very direct questions, they can't give you direct answers? So keep that in mind, okay? I do feel that you might be dealing with a water sign, so Pisces, Scorpio, Cancers. And because you're a fire element, I do sense that communication is already going to be difficult. But I want you to understand that if you're looking for direct answers and they can't give that to you, and they can't even give you a time frame where they can come back and give you an answer, that's probably not the right person to be in your life, okay? So keep that in check, all right? The financial situation looks to me to be very, very stable. For a lot of you, if you have closed some doors on some family members, I do sense that there might be celebrations and things like that coming in for this month. hold your tongue. Be careful about, engaging in unnecessary conflict. I do feel somebody is like coming through. Okay, so if you've had like an ongoing quarrelsome, troublesome relationship with somebody, I feel somebody is like coming through back in and trying to offer you like a peace offer, but it's not going to last. It's a very like tentative peace treaty, and then they will revert back to their old self, and then they will try to re-engage you in conflict. And I feel like the person that you're dealing with, whoever it is, if this sounds familiar, whoever it is that you're dealing with, they're just very insecure, and as a result of it, don't waste your energy. Just don't engage in it. Don't waste your energy. And I know you're very forgiving, but I feel that the universe is forcing you to move on. It's forcing you to move from this, see it for what it is, and just know that, they're not bad people. I just feel that they're very insecure. They're like addicted to drama. So, keep that in check as well. And once again, the energy can flow both ways. So, try to calm it or nip it in the bud when it starts surfacing for you or through other people. So then don't waste your time with unnecessary conflict with people who have like who are addicted to drama this month. Okay, let's see what's in store for you both from for you. Okay, so we are dealing with an a water sign here. Excuse me. All right, so let's look at this for singles first. The first card out of the deck here is the Queen of Wands. So I feel like for a lot of you, you might be newly single. The Queen of Wands is usually like a very motherly, well, it's a fire sign, but so this is your energy. What I'm feeling is this is somebody who's very, very motherly, though. And in this deck, I'm getting this is somebody that might have potentially, you might have a child, you might have children, you might want a family, you might want to establish like a little, like a family unit, like a tribe. So I do feel this is a very, very maternal figure, and she's fiercely protective of her family members as well as her her unit, like her offsprings. Okay. For those of you who are newly single, I do feel that you bring with you a more combative air when it comes to dating. You don't really tolerate BS and game playing from your romantic partner and from the people that you're dating. You want directness, frankness, honesty, and you want people who are a little bit more like assertive. Okay. Um, in your dating environment, you might be dealing with a water sign, and water sign Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This can be male or female, and I do feel that there is a sense of like um, they might be younger biologically, or they're just a little bit immature. When it comes to this person, I do feel that they're kind of playing the field, and I also feel as if they're not very sincere. They're just flirtatious. They're prone to flirtation, and they might make promises and fail to deliver. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. If this sounds familiar to you, don't put all your eggs in one basket, okay? Because there will be other people coming into the picture for you, all right? I feel like this is a person that wants to get your attention, but I don't feel that you're tolerating it, and you're not in or you are in a position where you have other offers coming through for you. So wait out for the better offer. I do sense as well, we do have a card here, the Seven of Pentacles, that is basically near this card, and the energy are supposed to like run together. This is somebody that might brag about how much money they have. They might, try to compensate by telling you, "Oh, I'm working, in the finance industry. This is how much money I make annually. And they're doing that mainly to show you that they're trustworthy, that they're dependable, that they have a lot to offer. But the thing is, emotionally, they seem to me to be very stunted, or they just seem like emotionally unreliable. And I feel that you're aware of this as well. So despite all the talk, despite all the rhetoric about, how mature I am, I feel like they're like overcompensating for other aspects in their life that they might be missing. Okay. Um, for a lot of you, I do feel that if you're single, you're a little bit skeptical when it comes to love and romance and things like that, okay? If you are newly single and you have gotten out of a serious relationship very recently, like even as early as as late as January, a little bit depleted, like your finances or your assets have been cut in half, or you're in a position where you might have been dealing with, just the end of a breakup. It's always hard, but I do feel there is a sense of self-esteem, like low self-esteem, not feeling comfortable in our own skin, and not settling for less. So what I'm feeling is that a lot of you are looking for somebody who's very financially stable, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that, okay? But I do feel that you want to be careful about placing too much emphasis on money, going after people who are like who are married to their work. You're not going to get the emotional fulfillment that you're hoping for from them. So if you're looking for somebody specifically that is, a workaholic, that has a lot of financial resources, and who's just like financially abundant, who will pamper you and all of those things, you're not going to be emotionally fulfilled. You're not going to be emotionally fulfilled. So aim for the right people, aim for emotional depth and emotional availability in the people that you're dating, okay? If you can be clear about what it is that you want. So this is, to me, once again, strategy, clarity, mental clarity. This is about manifesting. And this is about like victory through a lot of struggle. And what it's coupled with here as well is the Wheel of Fortune, which is basically, if you can be very clear about the people that you want to date, that you want in your life, the universe will start to deliver for you. So just keep that in mind. I do feel for a lot of you, you're in a position right now where you are very hard at work. You're very ambitious when it comes to manifesting, your work situation, your finances, as well as your career. You might not have time so much to start dating, but I would urge you to try to do that, or at least, give it some time. If you feel like you are completely healed from previous past relationships, try to start dating, because I do sense like it's slow progress, but it's really still good for you to get yourself out there, okay? For those of you who are in relationships, like solid relationships, marriage situation, I feel that you're going to have to compromise this month. What I'm getting is, in the traditional deck, whenever the Queen of Wands comes up, it is somebody who is very gentle looking. In this deck, it seems like she's always ready to fight, okay? It seems like she's not very secure and happy. She has her guard up and she's like almost ready to fight. If this is the energy that you're bringing onto the table in your relationship where you're confrontational, I do feel that your partner feels as if they have to prove themselves over and over and over again. I feel almost like, for those of you in stable relationship where there might have been like some third party interfering in your relationship, you're kind of hurt, and you might have a quarrel with your partner and it's dragging on into that. If you're arguing over, not spending enough time together, or where have they been the past 3 nights, for example, I feel that they might just be hard at work. They might just be working, and as a result of it, they might not have the time, or they might not have, checked in with you. Don't let unnecessary suspicion or doubts and things like that creep into the relationship. If you're looking for explanation in a stable relationship, confront the other person, or at least, just sometimes we have it in our head that, certain things happen, even though whoever it is that tells us otherwise, we still have our doubts. Okay, so you have to also understand where exactly is the doubt coming from. Is it coming from your sense of not being able to trust other people? Or is it because you doubt your partner? So, for example, if you've gone through, if you dated like three, four people in the past and the trust issues were never there, and then all of a sudden with this partner, things are tugging at you, and you're just like, where is all these insecurities and trust issues? Where are they coming from? It might be time to talk to your partner. I do feel like somebody is trying to like declare their love, and then the other person is just very, very skeptical. Okay, and it goes both ways. So I do feel that if you're newly dating, especially, and there might have been some deception, some lies, and things like that that were caught in the past, it's probably best for you to move away from it, or at least, just to arrive at some truths. But I do feel here that it's really affecting your ability to trust and to move on with the relationship. So the trust issues are definitely there, and that's something you want to remedy. You want to get to the root of so that you can both progress and move forward, okay? Um, I do feel as well, if you're dealing with a water sign, just be a little bit careful because it is a very young, flirtatious energy. And especially if it's somebody in your work environment, you want to be extra careful because they might have a tendency to talk and, secrets come out and things like that, all right? So Aries, I do hope you have a wonderful contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com. My website can be found in the description box below where you can schedule appointments and see my availability. So I'll talk to you soon. Take care.